Monday of the third week of school. Congratulations, we made it through 2 weeks already. And I just want to say first, this is going to be a different kind of week because we've got students returning to campus, and we're also doing distance learning, and it's a learning curve for everybody. So I'm really want to let you know I'm really committed to continuing to provide quality distance learning experience, but there might be a few speed bumps along the way and some wrinkles to iron out. Uh, and so the next couple of days are going to be different because the students on campus are going to be going through procedures and, first day of school, student handbook, all those kinds of things. And I really thought it was a good time to make sure that we're doing the same thing with distance learning, going through the student handbook and doing some of the growth mindset uh, learning, understanding how learning happens. So that's what we're going to be doing with the students on campus during this day and maybe even tomorrow. But we'll see how that goes. Anyway, I just want to just give you a brief overview of what we're going to be going over. I'm going to be sending you the student handbook for this year. There are a few things for COVID-19 I don't believe are included in this one, but we will see if we can get those to you as well, because most of those have to do with on-campus procedures. So, but everything else should be here. So I want you to kind of go through it, read it. I'm going to count this as ELA because it is reading and understanding informational text. So I want you to go through it, and you don't have to read everything in depth, but when you see certain things that talk about behavior or talk about academic, uh, all those academic procedures and all those kinds of things, I want you to pay attention and read through it. Then I'm going to have a writing assignment for you to go along with this. So first, I want you to go through it. It's going to be under classwork for uh, August 17th. So download it, read it, and then I want you to write a 5-paragraph essay, and we'll go over that in a second. I'm sorry, we'll go over that in a second. What a 5-paragraph essay is. This is going to be a persuasive essay trying to persuade the reader of something. So we'll get to that in a second, but I do want you to read this and go over it. I will count that as your ELA time today. Also, I'm going to be sending you what the students here are going to be getting today. It's a basic making your mindset um, project. So basically, it's looking at the kind of mindset that helps us learn. All right, and we're all learning. I'm a teacher, but I'm learning. I had to go to school to be a teacher, and I had to learn how to teach and the best practices of teaching. So, and after that, I'm going to be learning other things too. So we're all learning, and learning is something you're going to be doing your entire life. And it's good to know how the mind naturally learns. And I do have a YouTube playlist that I'm going to show you in just a second. I'm going to send that to you as well to go with this. I want you to watch the playlist. It's very important to know that we are constantly learning, even when we're not trying to. Our brains naturally make connections to things and pick up on things. And it's really important that we make sure that we know that our mindset actually affects how much we take in, how much we learn. We can have a fixed mindset that says, I'm never going to understand this, and we get frustrated with some things that don't come naturally. For some of us, that might be reading. For others of us, it might be math or science or different things that don't make sense to us right away. But the more we apply ourselves and the more we tell ourselves, my brain can naturally learn this. My brain is amazing, and it is going to learn this at some point. Um, it's important to have that mindset going in. So I want you to go through this as I send it to you. There's an introduction that talks about neuroplasticity, which is basically how the mind learns. And you're going to go through this. If you can print it out, that'd be great. Then you can actually kind of use this as a journal to go through. But if you can't print it out, then just use a piece of paper and write these words down, and you can look them up. You can write down when you look them up, you can write down your own understanding of what the word means in your own words, that'd be a great thing to do. But, we've got a Venn diagram here. Basically, what's a fixed mindset? What's a growth mindset? A growth mindset is basically saying, I don't understand this yet, but I will because I'm going to keep trying to understand it. Whereas a fixed mindset says, I'm not going to get it. I just can't think that way. I can't understand this. Uh, Things we tell ourselves, the statements we make to ourselves in our mind actually affect how whether or not we're going to learn something or let ourselves learn something. So I want you to go through this and just kind of, explore it on your own and see what you get out of it. So these are really going to be the only, because this is science, okay? And this is kind of a crossover between ELA, science, um, and, we'll have some more math coming up this week, but I want to make sure that we're going over this. And this might be a good time also if you are getting behind on math. I'm not going to give you a new assignment today, so it might be a good time for you to just kind of make up some assignments or go back to some work. Make sure when you go to Khan Academy that you are signing in with your student email. All right, that's very important because that's how it'll send me the information. Sometimes students say, well, I signed in, I did the assignment, but it's saying I didn't do it. Well, you got to make sure that you're signing in your student uh, email account, your student Google account. All right, and that should take care of that problem. If it doesn't, get in touch with me, and we'll try to figure it out together. So I want you to work on these two, and let's go to the 5-paragraph essay. This is something you'll be working on all week, so I don't want you to get overloaded and think that you have to do it all today, but something good to be thinking about today. Maybe make a brainstorm, and let's go look at the 5-paragraph essay that I'm assigning for this week. So, as you read the student handbook, I want you to ask yourself, is there anything that if I had the power to change about the handbook, I would change? All right? And it can be anything. But you have to persuade the reader that this is a good idea. All right? You can't just say, school is boring, I would make it more fun. Okay, well, tell us why it's boring. Tell us what you would do to make it more fun and how that would affect the learning and be better for what school is trying to accomplish. Okay, so we need to uh, make sure that if you're making an argument, and this is not an argument, but if you're trying to be persuasive, you have to back up your claims. You have to back up your thesis. And so here we go. So there's 5 paragraphs, all right, and we're going to be doing 5-paragraph essays pretty much all year. So I don't want you to get too bogged down in this. Just write how you write. I just want to see where you're at. I want to see how you write. I want to see how you think through things. Okay, so uh, there's no pressure on this one. I just want to see how you do things. And there's usually a paragraph is going to be 6 to 8 sentences, but for this assignment, I'll let you get uh, I'll let it slide at maybe 4 to 6 sentences on each paragraph because I don't want you to get overwhelmed with this assignment. I'm going to give you all week to do it, but there is going to be a first draft and a final draft. So I want to make sure that you are actually thinking through things. So the introduction is basically the thesis statement. Now, a thesis statement is basically um, what you're trying to persuade the reader. So you can say, I wish the cafeteria would serve more of this kind of thing or that kind of thing, and here's why. All right. Uh, the first body paragraph, so this will be the second paragraph. Okay. First paragraph is the introduction. First body paragraph is the second paragraph, and it's just one point you're trying to make. It's like if you were saying uh, the I don't know the dress code is too strict, and here's why. Point number one, we should be able to wear this or that. Okay, and here's why. All right. Second, it's also too strict because of fill in the blank, and here's why. Third, which is really, here's my third point. These are different points you're making that back up your original claim. All right. So the first thing you're gonna have to do with this essay is make an outline. You're gonna have to, with the introduction, just give the point that you're trying to make. One thing you would change about the student handbook. All right. The second paragraph is your first point to back up your claim or to back up the whole point of the essay. All right. Then the second point to back it up, third point to back it up, and then the conclusion. Restate your basic thesis, restate the original points you made, and the clincher is just basically reword all of your arguments into maybe one or two sentences, and that wraps everything up. And this is a tried and true way to write an essay. So once you get to high school or even past high school, they're going to ask you to write essays. And let me tell you something. In college, this is what they're asking you to do. Maybe it's not just 3 points, maybe it's more than 5 paragraphs, but you do have to have a introduction, a thesis, a conclusion, and points that back up your argument that are included in your thesis and in your conclusion. So we're going to give you some practice on writing these. All right. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just want to see you trying on this. And again, with the growth mindset, you can do it. You are going to be able to do this. All right. It's just going to take a little bit of time. So your assignment for today is just to write a basic outline. All right. Write it in a document. Send it to me the way I've shown you to do it. If you have any questions about that, go ahead and drop me an email or ask me in the stream, and I'll answer them the best I can, but that's pretty much what I want you to do today. All right. This is what we're going to be doing in class today. So we're pretty much doing the same thing, both in person and distance learning. All right. Okay. I will talk to you again tomorrow.